1. Rock, report range status.
Range green.
Roger.
Stable at step 3.
Verify ECS routes for launch.
25.
Status check.
Go Atlas. Go Centaur.
Go Leo. Ten, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We have ignition. 1.
Ignition and full thrust.
And liftoff of United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket, carrying another 29 satellites from Amazon. These spacecraft will deliver fast, reliable internet to customers around the world. You are hearing the voice of ULA's flight commentator providing launch vehicle descent data.
Engine continues to operate nominal.
In about 15 seconds, the first stage engine will throttle down to prepare for separation of the solid rocket boosters.
Atlas V is now 1/2 of its liftoff weight. Engine operating parameters continue to look good.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 1 minute and 39 seconds. We're coming up on burnout and jettison of the solid rocket boosters. These additional motors augment the thrust at liftoff, giving Atlas an extra boost off the pad.
Jettison of all 5 SRBs. Engine continues to burn normally. Now passing 2 minutes into flight, the vehicle is 38 miles downrange, moving at 4,200 miles an hour through the center of the range track.
We are just over 2 minutes into flight. Coming up next, the Atlas V rocket will transition into closed-loop steering, meaning it will begin to use real-time flight data to adjust its path. One thing many people may not realize about launch day is that these key milestones are all pre-programmed into the rocket's onboard computer, known as the avionics system. While it may seem like engineers are commanding each step in real time, that work is done in advance, tested at ULA's Integration Lab in Denver. On launch day, the team is focused on monitoring the data coming back from the rocket to make sure that everything is performing as expected.
And we saw the Centaur reaction control.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 2 minutes and 53 seconds. We're approaching jettison of the payload fairing in just a few moments.
And we have good indication of payload fairing jettison. And CFLR deck jettison. Throttling back up as expected. Engine continues to burn normally.
We've just now heard confirmation of the payload fairing jettison. This composite fairing protected the spacecraft as it pushed through the harshest parts of Earth's atmosphere. Coming off is cutoff of the Atlas first stage engine and separation of the booster stage, followed by ignition of ULA's Centaur second stage engine. These events occur within the first stage has escaped Earth's atmosphere, getting above the Kármán line and into space. ULA's Centaur upper stage, with the Amazon LEO satellites attached, then takes over on a trajectory to precise locations in low Earth orbit. Let's listen in as we approach these milestones.
Engine continues to operate nominally. PU's on open loop control as expected. And we've completed boost stage chill down. Temperatures operate as expected. And BECO, we have successful cutoff. And good indication of stage separation. Pre-start on fuel and locks, good staging. Ignition. And full thrust. RL-10 is running nominally.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 4 minutes and 50 seconds. We just heard ULA's flight commentator confirm the successful completion of the early milestones in today's flight, and all systems continue to operate nominally. We have about 12 minutes until we reach our next milestone event, shutdown of Centaur's main engine. In a few minutes, I'll be joined by a special guest. But before I do, let's relive the Artemis II launch in beautiful slow motion. On April 1st, NASA's SLS rocket launched the Artemis II mission, marking the first crewed mission to travel around the moon in more than 50 years. A proud moment for NASA and for the ULA team who supported this mission, along with the Artemis I back in 2022. In partnership with Boeing, ULA provided the Interim Cryogenic Propulsion Stage, or ICPS. ICPS was the second stage, or the part of the rocket that took the Orion spacecraft to orbit. And once Orion reached orbit, it separated from ICPS and began an important test in space. Using special targets placed on the side of ICPS by ULA, the astronauts carefully guided Orion back towards the stage. These proximity operations gave the Artemis II crew time to test drive Orion in preparation for future Artemis missions. The astronauts practiced the precise movements future crews will perform, such as docking with another spacecraft near the moon. With these tests successfully completed, Orion moved away and fired its engines to continue its mission around the moon. Let's take a look at what that operation looked like with pilot Victor Glover at the controls.
Standing by for separation.
Yeah, we have good separation, good motion. We are ATP go.
Confirmation, separation from the interim cryogenic propulsion stage.
Good motion. Go for 180 pitch, confirmed. Separation confirmed, Houston.
Houston copies.
All right, here comes the pitch rate. I see it. Look at that. Woohoo! That,
This view inside Orion.
I see the moon in the camera, and now I see ICPS in the docking camera field of view. Okay, waiting for 550. I'm on the THC. There's 550, starting the 19N. 1.
This is the view from
5, 9, and
This is the view arrow. The docking camera is showing the crew inside Orion.
19 ends. Much quieter. Got a little rumble
Checking.
like we're driving on a rocky road, but much quieter than in the sim. I'm showing about 3 degrees wide on ICPS. And it's holding right near the center.
Integrity, no action for you on that enable prop caution.
No action.
Bit of ICPS. Did you see that photo off the screen on camera view? 0.8 degrees wide. Quite large. All right, I'm going to course. 0.9 degrees. 1 degree wide. Here comes 6 outs. 1, 2, 3, 8 down pulses.
Great view of the ICPS that powered Orion during the perigee raise maneuver and apogee raise burn.
4, 5. 38. I can see the side docking target. That is a good looking American flag. Wow. Copy. Going off, Fox. Great flying with you, Houston. Nice vehicle.
Great job, Victor, and to the entire crew, and we enjoyed your excitement at seeing ICPS out the window.
With proximity operations complete and the upper stage separation burn complete as well.
Oh man, what a cool view. Looking ahead, ULA is excited to continue that partnership, recently announcing plans to work with NASA to provide our high-performance Centaur upper stage for future missions. This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 10 minutes and 2 seconds. I am now joined by Amazon's VP of LEO Business and Product, Chris Weber. Chris, thanks for joining us this evening.
Thanks for having me.
You're joining us from the LEO Mission Operations Center back in Seattle. Can you give us a sense of what's happening over there?
Yeah, again, it's really great to be here. Maybe two different perspectives. One is I've been down there, was there for the first launch in April, and it's quite spectacular down there. But I'd also say it's pretty spectacular up here. We're in a little bit of a quiet period right now between second stage separation and before we deploy the satellites. What you see behind me is mission control, and we have tons of expertise and brilliance in that room, whether it's the GNC folks, flight directors, payload, thermal, propulsion, lots of expertise in this room, making sure the launch is successful. Essentially what will happen next, the most important thing as we start to deploy the satellites, they'll get connected with one of our telemetry, tracking, and command stations. This one will be in Athens, Greece, where we'll get our first connection. Two things will happen. One is we'll make sure we can successfully communicate with the satellites. And then the second most important thing is making sure the solar panels deploy and each satellite is power positive. The good news is we've had 100% success rate in our first 9 launches on all satellites. Cross our fingers today, and we get the same result at the end of this launch as well.
Oh man, sounds like a lot of exciting milestones coming up. With over 200 satellites in orbit and Atlas V delivering 29 more on the way, can you tell us more about how the Amazon LEO program is going overall?
Yeah, so we feel really good. In fact, a couple things. One, you talked about the number of satellites. I think we'll have approximately 270 with a successful launch today. This will be our 10th launch in under 12 months. We have another launch later this week. That'll give us 11 launches in the first 12 months. I think that's faster than any satellite constellation to date. We also will be the 3rd largest constellation deployed with these successful launches this week. So very excited about that. So about 270 satellites up in orbit. The good news is we also have hundreds of satellites coming off the line ready to be deployed. In fact, we've had to buy more storage facility to store all the satellites, but we have lots coming off the line, lots in orbit. And then we already have the next 6 launches fully locked and loaded, ready for the launch providers to pick them up and launch into orbit. So we feel really good in terms of the progress we're making, where we've been. And then the last thing is, we'll have 11 launches in the first 12 months. What we've announced is we expect our plan is to double the number of launches over the next 12 months. So feel really good where we're at. Now everything is about acceleration of satellites, launches, and getting to service, which we've said will be later this year.
That's exciting to hear. We're moving quick. This evening's launch is the second of 4 Atlas LEO launches planned over the next few months. Can you think about the importance of these missions?
Yeah, a couple things. This is the second launch. Our last Atlas launch also, our first couple launches, we had 27 satellites. The last launch, we worked with ULA and we were able to get creative and figure out how we put 2 more satellites on. So we had 29. Tonight's launch also has 29, and every one of those satellite matters. It matters for getting our constellation deployed, getting us closer to service, the performance, all those things really matter. So very excited about what we've been able to achieve with Atlas. and it prepares us as we go into the larger heavy lift vehicles such as Vulcan. We have over 38 launches planned with ULA Vulcan, which gets us more satellites per launch, and again, gets us closer to service, allows us to expand our geographic coverage. And what that means is greater number of customers we can serve, greater geography we can serve, and delivering on the performance, the security, and the better together Amazon benefits that we've talked about.
Well, thanks for that. We've upped the number of satellites on the Atlas rocket from 27 to 29. Do those 2 additional satellites really make a difference?
Absolutely. As I talked about, every satellite makes a difference. Again, this is all about how fast can we get satellites up, get us to service, and we've talked about that will be later this year. We're very excited about that initial delivery of service to customers. But as we get more and more satellites up, and every one matters, it gives us greater performance, greater resiliency, and greater geographic coverage. So absolutely matters. We continue to work with ULA and our launch providers to get creative and get as many satellites as we can up as fast as we can.
Happy to hear about that. ULA and Amazon partnered on a launch processing facility here at the Cape. Can you talk about the importance of these facilities to building your business in space?
Yeah, first of all, we have our payload processing facility, which is the largest satellite processing facility in the world down at the Cape there. It's structured so we can be preparing 3 dispensers for 3 different launch vehicles at any one time. So massive amount of scale. In fact, we have the next set of dispensers already prepared to load on to those launch vehicles. So we're very excited about that. And then we've partnered with ULA on the vertical integration facility. In fact, we have one named the VIF-A, which is the vertical integration facility Amazon, which again gives us additional capability, particularly for the Vulcan rocket, where we can start to load up and get on a cadence where we can get more satellites up, more launches quicker, and create that repeatable process. So very excited about the partnership we have with ULA, and all in the spirit of being able to deliver a service faster and better for our customers.
Well, Chris, I know it's a busy time right now, so thank you so much for taking a few moments to join us.
Thanks, and really appreciate the partnership we have with ULA.
RCS thermal conditioning sequence continues to operate nominally. One minute to MECO.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 17 minutes and 30 seconds. We're coming up to the end of the first 2 Centaur upper stage burns.
"30 seconds to MECO. IIP vanish, vehicle is now orbital." Engine continues to burn as expected. PU to open loop control. And MECO, we have main engine cutoff. Approximately 2.5 minutes to spacecraft separation.
We've just heard confirmation of the successful first burn. In about 2.5 minutes, we'll begin the deployment sequence for 29 LEO satellites into low Earth orbit. This will take about 16.5 minutes to complete.
Fuel tank pressures are stable. Now passing 19 minutes into flight. Helium storage bottle pressures look good. One minute, spacecraft separation event 1. Now passing 20 minutes into flight. We successfully completed our turn to spacecraft separation attitude.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 20 minutes and 53 seconds. We're coming up on the start of the LEO satellite deployment sequence.
And all 3 LEO satellites were deployed successfully. About 2 minutes to our next deploy event.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 21 minutes and 16 seconds. We've heard confirmation of the first 10 events to deploy all 29 satellites for Amazon's Atlas V LEO-06 mission. As we've mentioned, LEO is Amazon's low Earth orbit satellite constellation, designed to deliver fast, reliable internet to customers beyond the reach of traditional networks. The full constellation will include more than 3,000 satellites, and their altitude allows for lower latency than traditional satellite systems. Each satellite uses electronic propulsion for orbit raising, maneuvering, collision avoidance, and safety orbiting at the end of the mission. They also use optical inter-satellite links, infrared lasers that transfer data between spacecraft, forming a secure network in space. To deploy the satellites, all 29 are mounted to a dispenser system attached to ULA's Centaur upper stage. Today's dispenser consists of the 3 tiers of 9 satellites each, with an additional 2 satellites on the final tier, affectionately referred to by engineers as the cake topper. Once Centaur reaches the target deployment altitude, the satellites are released 3 at a time, with short pauses in between, starting with the bottom tier. During this process, ULA engineers are closely monitoring data to confirm each deployment is successful and that all systems remain healthy. We have 9 more deployments ahead, so we'll step away from commentary for now and return as we approach the final deployment. In the meantime, we'll continue to show live animation of the mission.
Arm command sent. Deploy command sent for set 2 of LEO satellites. And we do have good indication that all 3 LEO satellites were deployed successfully, approximately 2 minutes to our next deploy event. Performing roll maneuver for our next spacecraft separation event. Beginning 100% settling. 1 minute, spacecraft separation event 3. "25 minutes into flight. Arm command sent. Deploy command sent for set 3 of LEO satellites. And we have good indication that all 3 were successfully deployed. Approximately 2 minutes to our next deploy event. "1 minute to spacecraft separation event 4. Arm command sent. Deploy command sent for set 4 of LEO satellites. And all 3 satellites were deployed successfully. Less than 2 minutes to our next deploy event. And performing our roll to the next spacecraft separation attitude. "1 minute to our next deploy event. Arm command sent. Deploy command sent for set 5 of LEO satellites. And all 3 satellites were deployed successfully, less than 2 minutes to our next deploy event. We are halfway through our spacecraft separation sequence. Performing our roll to our next spacecraft separation attitude. Now passing 30 minutes into flight. Vehicle is 7,700 miles downrange. One minute, spacecraft separation event 6. Arm command sent. Deploy command sent for set 6 of LEO satellites. And we have good indication that all 3 satellites were deployed successfully. About a minute and a half to our next deploy event. One minute to spacecraft separation event 7. Arm command sent. Deploy command sent for set 7 of LEO satellites. And we do have good indication that all 3 satellites were deployed successfully. Less than a minute and a half to our next deploy event. "30 seconds to spacecraft separation event 8. Arm command sent. Deploy command cent for set 8 of LEO satellites. All 3 LEO satellites were deployed successfully. Approximately a minute and a half to our next deploy event. "30 seconds to spacecraft separation event 9. Arm command sent. Deploy command sent for set 9 of LEO satellites. And we do have good indication that all 3 satellites were deployed successfully. There is 1 separation event remaining.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 36 minutes and 8 seconds. We're coming up on the final LEO deployment in today's mission.
One minute to the final spacecraft separation event. Arm command sent. Deploy command sent. All LEO satellites have been deployed successfully.
This is Atlas Mission Control at L plus 37 minutes and 48 seconds. We just heard confirmation of successful deployment of Amazon's 29 LEO satellites. As we wrap up our live coverage, I want to say thank you for tuning in to tonight's flight and remind you to visit ulalaunch.com, follow us on social media at ulalaunch, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And join us May 22nd for another Atlas V launch for Amazon LEO. Now before we sign off, let's take another look at liftoff.
10, 9,
8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2. We have ignition, 1.
Ignition and full thrust.
And liftoff of United Launch Alliance Atlas V rocket.